Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining me. It's about 11:30 in the morning, and I got a really fun safe here. I think it's going to be fun. Picked this up on Facebook Marketplace. Basically, a landlord had tenants that left a whole bunch of stuff behind, and he was selling it because the tenants owed him a lot of money, and they abandoned it. They left it behind. So this was one safe that they left. There was another safe that you could see on the floor they had, and they had obviously taken that one. I don't know why they left this one, but obviously there's no combination. Picked it up super cheap, and when we were moving it, I could definitely hear it's got something in it. These usually have some shelving in it, so a lot of times those fall and you can hear them rattling. But this had what sounds like either nuts and bolts, which cap, and these have mounting systems in them, or ammunition. And this being a Remington safe, this is kind of a perfect safe for an ammunition safe. People will put all their guns in their big safe, then they'll have a smaller safe for all their ammunition. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm guessing. That's what it sounds like. We're going to find out. So as with all my safes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tutorial video on how I open the safe, and then I'm going to do a content video on what the actual contents are. So if you're watching the content video, we're going to zip through this tutorial and get right to the good stuff. If you're watching the tutorial, let's get cracking. So I've had a lot of people comment on my my YouTube channel that hey, you always use your DDM. The DDM's great, but I don't have a DDM, or I can't afford a DDM. Can you use another method? And I've decided, I could definitely do another method. And what I've decided to do was do the laser method. The laser method is basically I've got a small laser pointer here, and this is actually a bore laser, 9mm, which is really nice because you can stick it right on there and it doesn't get in the way of your hands. And I've double-sided taped it, and I've got a little piece of paper here. And I've got it taped on both sides so it doesn't move. And basically, when I move the dial, you can see, the actual laser pointer move. So this is exactly what a DDM does. Just instead of a digital format, it's more of a manual and analog format. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and put our tape up so we can write down the indication numbers we get. And I'm not sure how long the batteries last on these little laser. Whoops, wrong way. These little laser pointers, so I've got backup batteries if I've got to swap it out, but hopefully it'll last me probably the 20 or 30 minutes it'll take me to crack this, and then of course we'll get to the content stuff. So let's go ahead and get everything started. 1, 2, 3. This is a pretty standard drop gate combination lock. So you can see if I move the dial, or excuse me, the handle, it keeps moving. So that's an indication, it's definitely a drop gate. So we're going to find the third number first, and then hopefully the second or the first, or the first or the second. Sometimes those interchange. So having said that, let's go ahead and get cracking. All right. So first thing we want to do is basically find where your indication points are, where your fence drops. It comes in contact with the drive cam. And for these, which is an SNG type, it's usually 14 and 10. Those are usually the spots where it drops down into the drive cam. This one, however, is a little different. This one is actually right there at 95. I've never seen one that far back on the dial, and if I go forward, it's actually right there at 9. You can see it. I turn my hands and it stopped moving. So 9 and 95 is a huge gap. It's usually, like I said, 10 and 14. And then if it's 10 and 14, when you rotate it back, turn to stop, it's usually about 95 it stops. This one, again, is at 95 is where it stops, the indication point. So that means its turn to stop is probably going to be about 85. It's usually about 10 or 15 past that. So again, just a different safe, different dial. I always tell people, how do you know, or people always ask me, how do you know, how to do a safe? And honestly, the answer is the safe tells you. It tells you where its indication points are. It tells you where its stop is going to be. It can even tell you whether it's counterclockwise to open or clockwise to open, depending on the friction and how quickly it releases on your two indication points. So you got to listen to the safe. That's one of the most important things is to do that. So I'm doing that exactly right now. It's saying my indication point is at 95, and I said, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our marker, and we're going to find that exact point where you feel the dial increase in pressure. And you can see I'm doing it, so it's right about 95 and a half. So for the laser method, sorry, my camera's in the way, I'm going to put a little dial, a little mark right there. And what that tells me is that's where this is. And as you go, and we go through our dial, especially for the third one, what you're looking for is it to move from there, probably about that far. Everything else will be right there, but when you hit that point to where the third wheel lines up, more than likely for the third wheel, that's usually first, you'll actually get a deviation. Everything else will be in pretty much the exact same place. There's always going to be a little bit of deviation, but you want to see a big deviation over one or two indication points that are back to back, and then after that it'll go back to normal. So I'll start talking. Let's start going. All right. So first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and go counterclockwise a couple of times, get all the wheels locked over there. And this one's definitely kind of tough to turn. All right, so now we're going to go clockwise all the way until we hit our first wheel, which is right there. So that's at looks like about 2. So we're going to push it all the way to 2, and then we're going to go back and we're going to check our gate. And you can see right there, it's exactly where it was. So now we're going to back it up to 4 and check the gate. Okay. And then we're going to go to 6 and check the gate. And again, we just keep doing that. And now we go to 8 and check the gate. 10. Check the gate. And sometimes you get a little extra friction, but you can see it's definitely right there. You can see as I move my finger, the laser kind of goes there and then goes back. So it's actually kind of sliding up a little bit and then it's sliding back down. Let's go to 12. 14. 16. And again with the DDM, 18. This is all digitally done, and all you have to do is remember the number. This one is kind of easier. You just have to remember. The numbers you're dialing, 20. But again, I'm not sure how long this laser light's going to last, so I might switch batteries. 22. You have to forgive me, the camera's kind of in the way of my seeing my dial. Makes it kind of hard. But it gives you guys a better view, so it's worth it. 26. No. 28. There's a tiny little See that little deviation? It's a little bit past it. So let's look at 30. That was 28, so we're going to go to 30 and see if that disappears. It is. Yep, see, look at that. Okay, so 28 is a possibility. It is super tiny. So let's see 32. But, again, any indication you want to write down. Sometimes you gotta finagle it. Yeah, see, that did the same thing. 34. It bumped past it just a little bit. Let's try 36. Those may be, like I said, those are tiny. But again, a lot of safes, that's what you want to look for. I'm looking for something a little bit more substantial, but to be honest with you, sometimes that's all you get is that's it. So you got to write it all down. And you know, a lot of safe crackers, 40, I might be repeating that, but let's just make sure. They I'm overshooting a little bit. There it is. What they'll do is they'll write down. What they actually do is they'll actually have a ruler here, you know, or something printed out that looks like a ruler, so they can, you know, write the actual deviation and numbers down. And you know, if you want to do that, that's totally good. I tend not to. I can kind of remember whether they're 44, big or small. You know, I get excited with the big ones. The small ones are just kind of there. I'm getting a bunch like that, so I'm not going to write down 44. I think that's just deviations in the wheel. 44, 48. You want to make sure that, you know, the paper's not moving. 50. Hopefully this laser doesn't sweep my camera. 40, 54. And you can see I'm you know, I hit that point and then I'm giving it, I mean, I'm literally trying to see if I can move that dial a little more. 56 is a tiny bit bigger. 58. But a lock like this should have a bigger indication. Oop, overshot it. And it's okay if I overshoot it. Yeah, that doesn't hurt anything. Just back it up to where you're back in the gate. And you want it to just touch that 64. So this camera is up on my phone here as it records, so I'm looking up because I can see a little bit better view. That's why I'm looking up, in case you're wondering. 66. And I'm also listening for any noises or any increased drag. I'm getting on it. Nothing really is happening. 68. Nothing. All right, 70. Wait a minute. Well, right there. All right, so that's bigger than the other two. So that's going to be our winner right now. But you can see, I mean, that's the difference. And if I can, I'll show in the video, maybe what 28 and 36 was versus 70. It's very, very tiny. So let's do 71 and see if that disappears. I say 72. And again, that's always a good indication. Yeah, it has. See, now it's back on the line. I hope that shows up in this camera. This is the first time doing this with the laser, so I'm really hoping that works well. Let's go to 74 and see if that goes back. Yep. That is such a tiny. 76. Okay. 78. Maybe. 80. All right. Two. Cat. I mean, this one is really sensitive. I'm actually overshooting the gap because it's such a delicate, and I want to hit it just right when it touches that and doesn't start to ride up the slope. And again, it's right there. Six. I'm worried this dot's getting dimmer. 9. That's the nice thing about the DDM. It'll run for 20 hours. I have no idea how long this laser pointer is going to last. I did notice it's awfully tiny batteries. Alright, we're going to go to 90 and then probably stop because I usually do plus and minus 5 for the contact points. Are usually just no-goes. So 90 to 0 it's very rare. It's too close to it because you'd get there and then it would immediately fall in, and then you've only got 2 number combination. So all right, so well, the good news is we at least got one really, really small indication, and that was 70. So you go with that. I mean, like I said, you work with what the safe gives you, and make sure, yeah, I can still see it on the camera. You work with what the state gives you, and that's it. And if that doesn't work, then you move to 36 and 28. So, I mean, technically we did get 3 indications. 70 is going to be the biggest one, but 28 and 36 are definitely possible. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and see if we can find the second number. So for that, we want to dial. And the one nice thing about the laser is you can spin this as fast as you want. With the DDM, there is a limit on the speed at which you can rotate it. Otherwise, it loses calibration, and that's just because you can zip this thing, and you know, the microprocessor system just can't keep up. All right, so we're going to go to 0, and now what we're going to do is turn 1 full rotation clockwise to 0, and then we want to do 1 more. And what that's going to do is that's going to pick up the second wheel. So now we're going to go ahead and go to 98. And we got to zip all the way back past 70 once. And 70. And then we go check the gate. Yeah, and you can see it's still deviated there. So that 70 is definitely good. So now we want to go back forward this way, and we're going to go to 96, past 70 once, and again, I'm dialing basically the second number, and then I pass 70 once, and then stop at 70, and then go check the gate. So that doesn't work now. For the quicker speed is I just go forward past that all the way back and right there, and it's nice because I can feel it. I mean, it actually hits the second wheel, and we're going to push that to 94, and then we go to 70, and then we check the gate. There it is. So that's good. Again, we're still getting that standard deviation at 70. So 92. Six, 70. And we go back and check the gate. Okay, you can see I'm trying to move it, but it's got that extra pressure. If I move it back here, you know, I've got the ability to kind of move it up, and it slowly creeps up. So that's good. All right, no good. So I am doing something, and I naturally do this, and I forgot this is a tutorial. So let's go back to 70. What I forgot to do is mark the new point. And what I'm doing is I can see that it's always right there. I can tell. So, but for you guys, what you can do, is mark the new line, and you can see that's the deviation on it. So I was just doing it in my head because I'm so used to it. I can see that it's gone further, but I apologize. I should do that properly for you guys. So let's go ahead and rotate this 90, and we're going to try 88, and go to 70. Let me check our gate. There it is. Okay. And we're going to go 86. It's really, really sensitive. Make sure everything looks good there. 84. And, you know, once you get the first number, once you find the second, we can, you know, you can make the decision to do that. And if this laser pointer is getting a little light, I may run the risk on that. All right, so 70. Thump. 82. It'll be a lot easier once we get to lower numbers on the second wheel, because man, so this 95 is okay. Right. 80. 70 once. 70 twice. Come on, baby. Wait. See that wiggle? I think that's it. All right, so you can see I'm moving it, and it's that was too much. I'm moving it. It's falling back. So let's do 8. That's possibly 80. So let's change this to 78. Let's see if it goes away. 78. 70 once. No, thank you. I'm busy. 70. And wow, that's awesome. And went right back. All right, so 80 is good. That's a really big indication. And again, what I talked about before is, do you continue going through all the numbers, or do you jump and jump to the first number and then try to find that? It's an individual decision. I'm gonna take the risk because, let's check this. Let's go back and let's redial all this, reset everything. Back to 0. So 1 rotation, 2 rotation. I want to mark how big this is, and that was at 80, right? 80. So we go past 70 once. Stop at 70. Second. I'm gonna go back, and we check the gate. Wow, it's jumping over it. So right there. Right there as it stopped. All right, so let's write this down. So right there. And then we went to 78 and it dropped back down to the middle one. So that's definitely a good indication. Let's start. Let's go with this. Let's go with the first number. Let's just do it. I think this laser is getting lighter and lighter. So let's take a risk and go with 80. 70, 80, this combination could be 60, 80, 70 or 50, 80, 70. So for something like that, here's an option. Go in numbers of 5. So check, 5, 10, 15, 20, like that. You can do that. I tend to not. I usually don't. I go ahead and just go by 2s because it's not very often that's that way. I'm sure this time's not going to be, going to be different. But this is also a tutorial, so I want to show you guys how to do it the proper way. But then comment on the fact that there are also, faster ways or cheats to do it if you want to do that. But you have to decide, as the as the manipulator if you want to do that. So we're not going to do that this time. We're going to go to 2 and then pass 80 once, twice, 80, and then we're going to go past 70 once, 70 twice, and then this is easy. You just check the gate. Nothing. All right. So then we go back. Oops, wrong way. All right. So now we go back. Sorry again. This is tough to see. To 4, and then we pass 80 once, twice, 3 times, and then 70 once. And you do this enough, you get really strong wrist muscles. All right, so it wasn't 4. Let's try 6. And this is all you do. You know, you go through all the permutations, and the biggest thing is you pray 1, 2 that your second, third numbers are right. Otherwise, you're dialing all this for nothing. And that's kind of a calculated risk I'm running, but you know, for a good solid indication on 70, the third, and then sorry, I'm talking more than I'm dialing. Let's go to 8, and then a good solid one on the second one. I'm going to take the calculated risk and see what I get. 70 once, 70 twice. And you can hear it ticking, but that's not it. All right, so 10. Where's 10? 10, 80 once. Shoot. Sorry guys, it's tough with this camera in the way. I think I'm gonna try a different setup. I just can't see the numbers. Maybe I probably need to get a light on it so I can see, because this camera's blocking 1, 2, blocking the light, so it's too dark for me to see. 70 once, 70 twice. 10. So I should have gone by 5s. Damn it! Why didn't I do that? Because this is a tutorial. All right, guys. That's it. It's unlocked. That's how you do it. 10, 80, 70, and you can see by these dash lines, and this is about a foot away. I think you can see it on my main camera. It's very, very small. I mean, these are the indications that you're getting, and they can be so small and so subtle. That's why my DDM magnifies it by 25 times the resolution of the dial. But if you can't get that, or you don't have it or can't use it, a 9mm laser pointer and a piece of paper and some tape. That's all you need. So hey, thanks for joining me, guys. This was a lot of fun. This was different. I hadn't used the laser method in a long time, and I think what I may do is I may start doing my tutorials with different methods. You got the crow's foot, you got the laser, you got the DDM. There's all kinds of different methods that you can do, but I also want to do timely. Some of these methods, like if you write down each deviation based on a ruler here. It's literally an hour or two where you write each one down, as opposed to if it's not a deviation, I just leave it. Now, if there's some safes that I don't get any indication, or it's got this slow creep along as the wheels are slightly oblong or not round, that may be a method that I can show you guys if I get a safe like that. But having said that, I don't really care because this is open and I know there's something in it, so I get to do the content video now. So guys, thanks for joining me. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I love subscribe and subscribing to my channel tells me that you guys really appreciate what I do. And please comment, because every comment I at least get a like, and I'll like it and I'll give you a little heart. If you've got a question or something like that, a lot of times I'll try to chime in and answer your question, or say thank you for the comment. Even if your comment is you suck, you shouldn't be doing this, or you're terrible, okay, that's cool. I'll still like it because it's your opinion and you took the time to give it. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good afternoon. It's 12:05, so it took 35 minutes to do this. So if you guys want to stick around, we're going to do the content video now. In the meantime, get out there and get cracking. Thanks, guys.